Today, we're going to break down the science of neuroprotection, a really hopeful strategy in the fight against ALS. We'll explore how scientists are, quite literally, building shields to defend our most vital cells.
Okay, so to really get what we're talking about with ALS, let's use an analogy. Picture your body as this huge, bustling city. And the nerve cells, the neurons, well, they're the essential workers. They're the ones sending all the messages, controlling your muscles, letting you walk, talk, even breathe. They keep the whole city humming along.
And this, right here, is the fundamental problem in ALS. The city's workers, those essential nerve cells, they start to get damaged. Their signals get weaker, and bit by bit, parts of the city just grind to a halt. This is the challenge that researchers are racing against the clock to solve.
Which brings us to the very heart of this explainer, a strategy called neuroprotection. Now, this isn't about rebuilding what's already been lost. Instead, it's all about creating a powerful defense to protect the workers who are still on the job.
So, what is neuroprotection exactly? The most important thing to know is that it isn't a cure, at least not yet. The best way to think of it is as a shield, or maybe a helmet for your nerve cells. The whole goal is to defend the remaining neurons from all the destructive things happening in ALS, to slow the disease down and keep things working for as long as possible.
And this strategy isn't just aiming for one single thing. It's really a multi-pronged attack. I mean, the number one goal, of course, is to slow the disease's progress. But by going after the root causes of the damage, things like toxic proteins and inflammation, these therapies are also trying to improve a person's daily quality of life. And get this, they can even make other treatments work better.
Okay, so how does this shield actually work on a scientific level? I mean, it sounds great in theory, but how do you actually go about building a defense system inside the human body?
Well, it's a pretty methodical process, really. First, scientists have to pinpoint the exact problem. Is it inflammation running wild, or maybe a specific toxic protein? Then they design the shield itself, which could be anything from a drug in a pill to a really complex cell therapy. After that, they figure out the best way to get it where it needs to go, and finally, they measure their success using these biological clues called biomarkers to see if the shield is actually doing its job. But here's a really critical point. The shield has to be designed for the specific battle it's fighting. About 90% of all ALS cases are what we call sporadic, meaning they have a complex mix of causes. For those, the shield needs to be broad. But for the other 10% of cases, which are familial and caused by a specific inherited gene, scientists can design a highly targeted shield, one that goes directly after that single, known source of the problem. So that leads to the obvious question, right? Who are these architects? Let's take a look at some of the key companies and research groups that are out there on the front lines, the ones actually building these innovative new shields. And what's so incredible is the sheer diversity of approaches. You have companies like Brainstorm using stem cells to release helpful proteins, while Medici Nova is using a simple pill to tackle inflammation. And then you have these super specific approaches, like Alice Pharma's antibody that's designed to hunt down just one type of toxic protein. It is a truly global and multifaceted effort. Now, building a potential shield in a lab is an amazing scientific feat, no question. But that's only step one. The next, and honestly the most crucial step, is testing it. We have to find out if it actually works safely in people, and that all happens in clinical trials. And the good news is we are seeing real, measurable results. In one major trial, an anti-inflammatory drug was able to slow down functional decline by 10%. Now, that might not sound like a huge number, but with a disease as relentless as ALS, being able to slow it down by any amount is a significant victory.
And here's another kind of victory. In a trial for a genetic form of ALS, a therapy was able to boost the levels of a helpful, protective protein by 40%. This is so important because it's a clear sign that the shield is being built correctly. It's hitting its biological target right on the money.
Some of these other therapies are designed to just calm the whole immune system down. For example, rapid therapeutics treatment managed to reduce these key inflammatory signals, these things called cytokines, by 20%. It's basically like turning down the dial on the inflammation that's helping to damage nerve cells.
So let's just pull back for a second from all the individual data points and look at the bigger picture. What does all of this accelerating progress really mean for the future? And more importantly, for the people who are living with ALS right now?
The story of this research is really one of acceleration. After the very first drug was approved back in the 90s, we saw a new approach emerge in the 2000s. But today, Today we're seeing an absolute explosion of diverse strategies, everything from stem cells and nanoparticles to gene therapies. The pace of innovation is, without a doubt, getting faster.
And behind every single data point, there's a human story. This is what it's all about. For Lisa, a scientific measurement, a 20% drop in her NFL levels, which is a key marker for nerve damage, that translated directly into something profoundly meaningful. She was able to walk for longer.
Or you can take James's experience. For him, a successful therapy didn't mean some dramatic cure. It meant regaining the ability to hold a pen a little longer. It's these small, vital pieces of daily life that these shields are designed to protect, preserving a person's dignity and quality of life.
And so we end on a really hopeful, forward-looking note. The progress is undeniable, the strategies are getting smarter, and the results are becoming more and more tangible. The research we've looked at today isn't just theory. It's the actual foundation for the next generation of shields. And it leaves us with one powerful question. With science advancing this fast, what will the next generation of shields even look like?